What's up, folks? This is Moose, aka Big House, man. You know what? I might have made a mistake. We had a prayer like right before we went on, and I probably should have recorded that. And I bet you, if we needed to go back to it, we could because it might have been the most important piece. Hey, it's the Heavy Hitters Radio Show, man. It's Tuesday night. Y'all chilling with us, and more. Tonight's show is going to be heavy. Let me tell you. Hey, I tell you what, I am freshly showered. You know what? I had to get that COVID off me today, man. I'm in a building full of people, and so I came home, man, and I cleansed myself, and then that prayer cleansed my soul and got me going, got me ready, and then man, we got some heavy information, some heavy messages for you tonight. Hope you guys are ready. Hey, Run EMC is in the house, man. What's going on?
Man, I'm living the dream. You're about to hear my dogs. Getting home from life. So I'll come back on in just a moment when they're not making noise.
Outstanding. Hey, I don't know if you guys know or not, but man, you know, we all got a 40. You know what I mean? And I just got out of my 40 before everybody else got out of their 40. So Jeezy will be in a little later, as so will D-Lo G, man, our resident DJ. But in the house tonight, man, we have some folks that got a message for you to get out. And I tell you what I'm going to do here. I'm just going to go on my screen, okay? And I'm going to kind of introduce everybody. That's how we're going to do it. And then we'll go around. And then we'll just get started. Hey, this is the Heavy Hitters Radio Show, so you do have to realize that there'll be some other things happening. We're going to do brews and reviews. We got to get that in today because there's so much new stuff happening. Matter of fact, movies are opening back up again, folks. We are in the middle of a damn pandemic, right? And so, but movies are opening back up. I saw that here in Indiana, where this show is located, bars and restaurants are now up to 75% capacity. That's something we probably need to talk about at some point. And then, man, all the shows on Netflix and all that good stuff. Hey, so check us out. All right, here we go. All right, so hey guys, tonight's show is going to cover so many topics. One of those topics is what's called the Indy 3. These are young men that must have been about 30 years ago at this point. Were incarcerated and have been incarcerated, and when we think about mass incarceration, that's kind of what we're looking at here. When that was going on, and we have Pastor Ruth Cosby here to talk about that. She's going to give us some information. She's also wrote a book that she's going to talk about. She's going to give us some information on Michael Lane and the rest of the Indy 3, and we're going to talk about that as well. Hey, I tell you what, we're also going to speak with Miss Overstreet. We're going to talk about Kaya Overstreet. And I missed the middle name. I know I did already. I'm horrible with that. I have to look it up if I have to.
Kaya Overstreet.
Yes. And so we're going to get information on her. Now, it's not necessarily human trafficking. However, she's been missing. She's been missing since February. Where is she? And how come nobody's just beating up the pavement looking for her? We're gonna talk to her sister Katrina and her soon to be husband Kwame Shakur about all that. We're gonna find out. You know, hopefully we'll get some people on the street. We'll get some boots on the ground trying to find out where she is. All right. Hey man, we got CG up in here too, and then CG is the cousin of Dorian Morell. Dorian Morell was shot here in Indianapolis during all the protesting and riots, and they have some interesting information on kind of how that investigation happened, who have taken Dorian's life. There's actually some videos out there, and I'll let CG and Kwame talk about that as well. And then, holy cow, I gotta look at my notes real quick. But we have the wife, right? We have the wife. Kwame, help me out. Throw me a bone.
Shapavu.
So Shapavu Karima.
Or you just say Shu. Shu? Is that fine, Shu?
Shapavu Karima.
Shapavu Karima.
Shapavu Karima is here, folks. And she is going to talk about Kevin Rashid Johnson. He's the Minister of Defense for the new African Black Panther Party. And from what I understand, there was an assassination attempt But I'm going to let them talk about that. Obviously, as always, the heavy hitters will have questions. But you know what? You got to realize, man, we bring the news to the people. Sometimes it's funny. Sometimes it's silly. Sometimes it's serious. Sometimes it's about life or death. But you know what? It's all information for the people. Heavy Hitters Radio Show. Y'all ready? Welcome, everybody. All right. I tell you what. So, Ruth Cosby, you're here. You're going to talk about the Indy 3. I tell you what, if you could give us some history, some brief history on how this all went down, that'd be cool.
Okay, it's pretty lengthy, so I'll cut it real short.
We appreciate that.
Young man in 1986 hadn't been in trouble before and saw a taxi cab running, thought, hey, let's jump in and take it. So when they took it, they didn't know there was a lady in there with her 2 small children in the back seat asleep. So long story short, they had the cab for about less than an hour, and the lady decided and this is my opinion, that she was going to get money out of this whole deal. So she cried rape. Well, they took her straight to the hospital. All the reports show no rape. Everything was negative. The judge was aware of that, I'm sure. But this judge, who is now deceased, said that this is going to be a centennial day. He already had it in his mind that all 3 of these young men were going to get 100 years apiece. So in order to do that, he made some bogus charges. The one charge that he didn't make was that they stole the taxi cab. That wasn't even in the sentencing. So he accomplished what he wanted, 100 years apiece. And they've had several attorneys, which basically took their money. And I even knew of an attorney, and I asked him to look into it because he's a good guy. I thought he could do something. But he wouldn't say a word. His facial expression didn't even change. So I knew then this has got a gag order on it, and you can't touch it. So I have been trying to reach out to many people, the news. I reached out to a politician, and he told me, you got to get it in the public for the public to know about it. So I went to the TV stations. They said, you got to have a book. Well, I did write a book. It's called The Travesty of Justice. And it's about the Indy 3. I know everybody's heard about the Central Park 5. This is the Indy 3. And on the back of it is a picture of one of the gentlemen, Michael Lane. Michael Lane has educated himself since he's been incarcerated with the law. He's helped many, many inmates to get their sentences overturned, modified, but he can't help himself. When he reached out to the Innocence Project of Indianapolis at IUPUI, they began to investigate it. And as they began to investigate it, the state says, oh, we've lost all the evidence. So Michael said, okay, fine. He took him back to court. He said, you have no evidence to hold us. You're supposed to keep that evidence for 50 years. So he said, you need to release us. You have no evidence. Well, of course, the judge sided for the prosecutor, and it was dismissed as well. And he's filed many times clemency with the governor, no response. This last one he filed, I don't even know if it got out of the facility where he's at. And so I began, as I was finishing up the book, I reached out to the 2 gentlemen that were with him, Charles and Ricky, and I asked them for their intake. So they began to email me information that just about brought me to tears, because it was really sad to see their life taken for mass incarceration. It's money. The state gets anywhere from $31,000 to $61,000 in some states per inmate, which we pay for. That's our tax money. So the state knows, yeah, they're wrong, but it's just best to keep them in there, because when they get out, they were told by a credible source, the state owes you money because this was wrong. So the judge that gave them the 100 years evidently was not intending for them to get out. So one of them has been lowered to a smaller facility, and he's one of the two that I have been contacting where COVID is running rampant through their facility. They are on lockdown right now.
Is that Miami?
No, that one's actually Newcastle.
Okay.
Yeah, they've been on lockdown for a while now. So also Pendleton had a real bad episode of the coronavirus, and they were actually housed all together in a gym area. You know, all the people that tested positive. So, you know, what gets me is, I don't know if you mind me saying names, but everyone knows the gentleman that had 7 felonies. And because of coronavirus, he was more or less pardoned.
Do your thing.
Went to prison. So why should these young men who are not guilty remain in prison when the judge is deceased? There's no evidence. Then why are you keeping them? In the book, I actually put Michael's degrees he earned in the book, made copies, and also I put in there the forensic scientist, her report that everything was negative. There was no rape. But when you say rape, people automatically assume you're guilty. I even had a big-time public official tell me that. Oh, well, if it's rape, they did it. Excuse me? What happened to innocent until proven guilty? There was no evidence to prove rape. And all the other charges that the judge gave them, no evidence at all.
So I got a question for you real quick. What did they ever come up for like a parole or anything? Or like, was it 100 years without? I mean, like, isn't it like every 25 years or something they want to sit down and talk about it or something?
I don't know the logistics of parole, but I know Michael has applied.
Okay.
And he shot it down. Even though he's got 2 degrees,
sure,
he aced 9 psychology classes.
Wow.
And he works in the law library
okay.
to help other inmates. But no, he's just about, I believe, touched on every avenue that he can. But they just knock it down. It's money. They are a paycheck for many people.
All right, folks. Hey, you listen to Heavy Hitters Radio Show, man. We just got listening to Pastor Ruth Cosby give us some great information on the Indy 3, more specifically Michael Lane, that has been incarcerated now for seemingly 30 years.
34.
34 years, and looking at what sounds like another 66, right? Is my math right? Yeah. Which means he would never see the light of day. Now, if we go back and quickly talk about this case, it sounds like he did steal a cab. Unfortunately,
yes.
there was someone sleeping in the cab, and there was children in the cab. The woman said that she was raped. The judge, he had no jury trial, and then at that point, the judge gave him and his 2 assailants 100 years apiece.
Exactly.
Now we do know 30 years ago, in the courts. I mean, especially a black man, which this young man is a black man. I guess he's not young anymore, but this young man that was back then was black, was not getting a fair shake. I mean, we know that.
Right.
Because if the rape kit comes up clean, that means she did not get raped. I mean, let's put that out there. Now, and please, folks, understand though that the Heavy Hitters Radio Show is just listening to these stories. We are coming up with how we feel about it, and it's not facts from what we understand. We're just pointing out the things that we see. All right, and that's just kind of how it is. It's not necessarily, and it's not conjecture, by the way. These are the folks that are on here have done research and they've done homework. They're not making this up, and we are just purely kind of answering to or listening to what they're saying, and then put it out there to the people. So I'm gonna put that out there to you because we don't know what's fact and what's fiction. We don't know that. We do have an opinion, and hopefully we're okay with that, right? We get our opinion of 8 million times, by the way. Moose aka Big House. Hey, real quick, man. I don't know if you guys saw on the screen, man. We got the one and only D-Lo G in the house. What's up, buddy?
What's happening? How's everybody doing, man?
Man, power to the people, right?
Already, 100. Good to be
here. Boots on the ground.
Boots on the ground.
You know, it's funny. We got all these sayings like already, we got too many sayings. Sometimes I can't even keep up with it. You know, I guess if we were pilgrims, we'd just be like, hi, guys, and be done with it. Be done. All right. So, all right.
That's all we have.
Right, exactly. And then run, folks, runs here. Hey, Pastor Cosby, you got any more information on this story, and where is it going from here? Like, what's the plan after the book is out and all that?
Well, because of the cost, and I actually went into my retirement fund to pay for the book. The printer that we used is in Oklahoma, and to get the book, 25 copies cost over $550. So all the books that have been sold, I know I'm not going to make my money back, and it's okay because it's the cause is why I did it. And I want to see the Indy 3 free. I mean, this is just the starter book. And with the starter book, we can't put everything in it because they're still incarcerated. There's a love story that's part of this book. And we give you a taste of it in the book, but we couldn't expound because of the danger it could cause, one of the inmates. Yes. So once he's released, this is the beginning of a trilogy. We're going to make the actual book and put all the juicy stuff in it and all the stuff that they actually went through. This is just a taste. And then we're going to make a movie. I always told him Denzel Washington's going to play you, baby. But my sister says, no, use Michael B. Jordan. So
all I'm going to say is you got Moose, a.k.a. Big House, available for the starring role. Look, I shaved and everything today.
You got it.
See, that's what I'm saying, man.
We're really serious about the movie. Okay. Because Hurricane Carter, that movie inspired me.
Okay.
I had never seen it because I didn't want to see it because of my close relationship to incarceration. I'm a chaplain for the Marion County Sheriff's Department. I volunteer. Of course, with COVID, I haven't been able to go in. But because I'm a volunteer and all the people that I've been involved with, I could not watch Hurricane Carter.
Okay.
And my best loved one was at home with me. Then I could watch Hurricane Carter. Yes. So when I watched it, the very first thing he says at the beginning of the movie, my manuscript, I got to get my manuscript. It's going to set me free. And I thought, really? So that started me to really putting this book together.
Okay.
Because I believe that somebody listening today is going to know somebody that knows somebody that can help get the Indy 3 free. Thank you in advance.
Outstanding, Pastor Cosby, Chaplain Cosby. Yeah, we definitely appreciate your information. Stay here because the questions will come for sure. Matter of fact, D-Lo, did you have any questions right now about the Indy 3 or run?
I'm going to wait till I hear a little bit more. With me joining late, I don't have the full context of the story, so I'm definitely looking forward to hearing a little bit more and picking this apart.
All right. Well, Ron, what about you?
So, first of all, I'm pretty excited to read this book. But I guess at this point, what can we do and how can we rally around this cause to help get this story out further or to cause some change in our communities to potentially get these 3 men out of jail, but then to also ensure that this is not something that continues to happen in our community?
Exactly. Great question. I have been in contact emailing the governor, the one judge that can help. I don't know if anybody knows him.
Who's that? What's his name?
Judge Grant Hawkins. I believe it's Criminal Court 5. And he is the one judge that can make a change. I've been emailing him. I've been emailing NBC. I have spoke with some of the people here in Indianapolis, but they haven't really picked up on it. But in answer to your question, if we could get a group together, I have even talked to someone here about their radio show. But of course, that question of rape comes in. I put all the evidence in the book. There was no rape. So what's the question? So I'm knocking on any door that I believe will open. So thank you for your input. If you can, send me some information through Moose, that would be great, because I'm willing to talk to anybody, because I believe and I trust that these young men should not be still incarcerated, and most of their life is gone, so they deserve to be out and enjoy their family and not have to worry about the death sentence of COVID-19.
All right. Hey, I tell you what, thank you, Chaplain Cosby, for the information, and for sure stay on here, because I'm sure we'll have questions, as it comes in. And if you have thoughts about some of these other stories that we're talking about, but holy cow, man, I mean, that's absolutely crazy. I mean, to think about that. I mean, but I don't know if you guys saw. So I was watching Heavy Hitters. I want you guys to pay attention to this. I was watching the Alfred Street Church. It's in D.C., Virginia area. It's in the DMV. And he had a sermon. He had a sermon on voting, right? Which I know sounds weird, but he's in the DMV, so of course that's what they're talking about that. And the pastor, and I can't think of his name right this second. I will call it here in a second. But he talked about the fact that how we've brought Trump into office, and people can be mad at Trump, right? You can be whatever, doesn't matter. And even if he gets voted out in November, guess what he's done? He has 300 judges that he's put around the United States. Not 100, not 200, but nearly 300 judges that he's appointed in the United States. And guess what? I don't know if y'all knew or not, but once you're a judge, you're there until you really mess up, you quit, or you die. That's how you lose your judge job. You go, you know what? I'm done with this. So, by the way, and not one, two Supreme Court justices. Although one of them been kind of turning the tail on him. I know they're not happy with him. So he might. Who knows what happened with him? Because he might come up smelling funny because he ain't been voting like they thought he was going to. But that is what voting does for us. It don't got nothing to do with what his tweets and him playing golf on Sunday. That have nothing to do with it. 300 judges. So when Michael Lane is going to court, the judge that, oh boy, obviously not them, but so any new Michael Lanes, that judge is the one that's going to make the call on him. And if it goes to the Supreme Court, then there's two of them on there that can make a decision. And by the way, the ones that used to vote for folks kind of like us, they sick and old in the mud. They trying their best to hold on. They fighting cancer, stomach aches, everything. They just keep coming back. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, right? She is super duper sick, man. And she's like, I'll do it from my bed. It's cool. I got y'all. Y'all just send it to me. I'll make a decision. So these folks are fighting. Like, these are true fighters. Anyway, I don't want to get on the soapbox, but Heavy Hitters, what do you think about that, man? These judges that are out there. Ron, you can go first, and then D-Lo, you can go ahead. And D-Lo, do your thing, man. Be you.
So I think for me, it's disheartening, especially now that we just talked about the Indy 3 all got 100 years, which is 300, and that's how many judges now that Trump has put into office. So that's kind of a weird number correlation. But I would like to say it's exactly 8 weeks from Election Day. Make sure you are registered to vote.
Outstanding. Appreciate you. D-Lo.
I mean, from my perspective, I mean, that's pretty damaging. As a black man in this country who's already had the justice system stacked against us, to know that we have a president in office who has so many race-favored agendas, specifically just in terms of the direction that he's going with this country, to think that the real legacy is the power he's left in the court system with these federal judges who are never going to have my best interest in mind. You know what I'm saying? Anytime they see someone like me, I feel like this is another opportunity for them to make me an example. You know what I'm saying? So that frightens me to think that there's going to be 300 judges who are of similar mind to our president from a judicial standpoint, and people like ourselves are going to have to go before them and not get the fair shake that they deserve in a courtroom. So I'm nervous for that, because this will last more than the next 4 years, more than the next 8 years. I mean, you know what I'm saying? This is stuff that can impact my kids, you know, my grandchildren even. So it's just humbling to think that he's left that kind of legacy, because 300 judges is a lot of federal judges.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. You know what? It might not affect us. I mean, you know, we old and chilling. You know what I'm saying? We ain't really flipping no tables no more. But like I got 3 sons. I got 3 sons that are under 30. You know what I'm saying? I got one under 20. It's going to affect them for sure. It will. You know, and you have small children, D-Lo. It's going to affect them for sure. It will. You know what I mean? And so, yeah. I mean, you know, it's kind of one of those things. All right, guys. Hey, man, Heavy Hitters Radio Show. This is Moose, a.k.a. Big House. And real quick, I know that D-Lo's here and Run's coming in somewhere. But I have a confession. I have a confession to make. I need to go into the Run. What happened to you? You got some Fisher-Price stuff over there?
No? What? I'm trying to get it on my computer. I'm on my phone.
Oh, okay. Hey, hey guys, this
you
is
need
Moose.
Support group?
I need support group real quick. Hey guys, so you guys that don't really know about support group, as a matter of fact, Jason Miller, I need you to come on if you're still there. I might need you. I need you real quick. So go ahead and get your. I need your voice and your face if you're still there. He's not even there. He's on the grill somewhere out back. Hey, there you go. I need you. I need you real quick. This is a segment. This is a segment we call support group, and I need some help. Okay. And so I'm gonna say my name, and I want you guys to say, you know, you say hi, so and so, and then I want your opinion, okay? Kwame, are you gonna help me out too? Maybe Ramon, you can help me out too if you want, and Pastor Cosby, you can too. Hi guys, this is I'm Moose, a.k.a. Big House.
Hello, Moose, a.k.a. Big House. Yes.
Hey, so here lately, the last 3 or 4 days, I have had some interesting dreams, and they've all been centered around Della Reese.
Wow.
And I'm not sure why. It was a group of us filming some sort of TV show, and she refused to work because the bathroom was nasty, and she showed me the bathroom, and it was nasty. In my dream. But she was an activist. She was strong, like she was funny. But why? What's the reason that Della Reese is in my dreams? I tell you what, Run, you go first, then Jason, you can go, then Pastor Cosby, and then anybody, and then D-Lo, and then if Kwame, if you got anything, go.
So first of all, I don't know who that is, but
okay, well, never mind. We're done. You're out. If you don't know who Della Reese is, we're done. All right, Mr. Miller, what's your thoughts on that?
I just feel like you have a deep yearning to be touched by an angel.
Good answer.
Was she in that show?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So I don't even know. I appreciate. See that's why I wanted you on there. I knew you had something for me. All right. Pastor Cosby.
Okay, I know Della Reese. I have absolutely no idea why she would bombard your dreams.
Every night.
There's a hidden message in there.
Okay.
So study her.
Okay.
Find out what that hidden message is.
I will. I for sure will. Okay. Thank you very much. D-Lo, what are your thoughts? Long Green 4100. No, 400.
All right, man. Let me ask you this: was your name Quick in this dream?
It was not quick. I was Moose. I was Moose in the dream. Matter of fact, she had like some man with her. I was the only other guy. It was
Red Fox.
It was not Red Fox. It was some guy I didn't know. It was a nondescript brother with a gray beard that was like her. I don't know if he was her handler or her dude, but yeah, he was there.
What was this? Was this more motherly feeling for you, or were you turned on?
I was not. I was totally like working. Like I wasn't in charge, but I was close to being in charge of some movie set or a commercial or something she was filming. But she was refusing to work, and they wanted me to convince her to work. But she was refusing to work because her bathroom was so nasty. The last thing I remember was her bathroom was really nasty.
Were you able to fulfill the mission?
I woke up, I saw the bathroom, and I was so disgusted I woke up. And it does not look like my bathroom. My bathroom is clean, by the way. What's that?
You let Della Reese down, brother.
Maybe she'll be there tonight.
Guilt in this, man. It's not the fact that you dreamt about Della Reese. It's the fact that you dreamed about her and you let her down, brother.
I thought you were supposed to make me feel better on the support group.
Hey, man, I can't always tell you what you want to hear. Is that real support? Am I helping you if I always agree with you?
100, man. I'm with you on that. And hopefully
Boots
tonight,
on the ground, brother.
Hopefully tonight she visits me again, and I will fix whatever situation she has going on.
You owe it to her.
Della Reese, I love you. All right. Anyway, all right, guys. So that was a support group from Heavy Hitters. All right, so listen. We got more heavy stuff we got to get into here. All right.
Hey, Chris, Moose, can I say something real
There
quick?
you go. Yes.
Sorry.
That's all right.
I didn't want to confuse the audience when they do get to see the book. It actually says the author is Chaplain Ruth Taylor.
Oh.
My publicist requested that I not use my maiden name because of all the issues with Mr. Cosby.
I'm not very smart now.
Okay.
All right,
no problem. So they won't be confused. I'm also Chaplain Ruth Taylor.
Chaplain Ruth Taylor on the book. Matter of fact, can you show it to us real quick while I'm looking up this information?
Okay.
Hey, excuse me, Ron. Can you put the book information in the comments, please?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, guys. Hey, thanks.
The title is The Travesty of Justice. And the back cover actually has the inmate on it.
Hey, can you read that?
Time I won't read it.
Can you read it? Go ahead and read that.
Oh, sure, I'll read it. Okay. It says, what started out as a youthful prank to escape the cold harshness of an Indiana winter has led to the frigid reality of a lifelong imprisonment sentence of 3 black men. This excerpt briefly chronicles the case that should have been heard 34 years ago. Today, through the voice of their chaplain, you can be the jury in this brief but yet intriguing account.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
That's great writing, by the way. Like, you got some skills over there, Chaplain.
Well, thank you. I'd love to take credit for that, but actually that part was my publicist.
Oh.
Sorry, my publisher.
They did a good job, too.
Yeah, she did a good job. And there's, like I said, all 3 gentlemen give their account in the book.
Okay.
And it's a very limited edition because, like I said, it's the first of the trilogy.
Folks, if you're out there listening and you want to donate to the cause, feel free to hit the Heavy Hitters Radio Show. We will 100% forward all information to Chaplain Taylor to make sure that she gets all that information. All right, hey guys. All right, so man, guess what? And you know what? I get like these friend requests or they want me to join these groups because they know that Moose is about the children, folks. Moose is supports and represents thousands of children throughout the years, and so I am getting tons and tons of requests to be a part of human trafficking groups and you know child groups and that kind of thing, and then lo and behold, somebody that I know hits me up, and then I understand that I'm close or I know someone who's been totally affected by possible human trafficking. Now listen to what I said here. Possible. We're not sure. But when someone comes up missing since February, what is it, September now? Like there's something going on. We haven't heard anything. And so folks, we have Katrina Overstreet here. She's going to give us some information about her sister Kaya. All right, folks. Kaya has been missing since February 6, 2020. So like before COVID even, right? She's been missing February 6, 2020. And so we have Miss Katrina Overstreet here. Welcome to the Heavy Hitters Radio Show, Katrina.
Thank you.
You've been here before, actually.
Yes.
So we appreciate you. Hey, tell us your story.
Well, Kaya Taylor, as you can see on my background, that's my baby sister. She's 28 years old. 28. Came up missing on February 6, 2020. The circumstances were that we found her car. Actually, she dropped her boyfriend off at a friend's house around 4:30 on the 6th. We were told that she left that area, and her car was found 3 hours later, about 2 or 3 blocks away from the house that she actually dropped her boyfriend at. The car was found running, empty, driver's side door open with her cell phone on the ground. There's a lot of information that says all of her belongings were in the car, but most importantly for me, a 28-year-old with a cell phone on the ground, her car's running, and her purse and everything in the car, that's, to me, very important. What 28-year-old leaves their phone anyway, especially their cell phone?
Right.
And Kaya was not that way. Kaya would go into the bathroom, shower with her phone. Okay, so I'm going to keep going. A passerby actually found her car in that condition. Called the police. The police got there, moved her car off of the railroad tracks, placed it on the side of the road, put her belongings, keys, wallet, everything, cell phone, everything, closed the door, locked it, and left. I want to make sure you guys hear that. They left. They did not run in her tags. They did not do an area search. They did not call her mother. They did not call the people that she was buying her car from to see if there was any tags or anything to be found. They had just left. 3 days later, her boyfriend's parents came upon the car that was 3 or 4 blocks away from this house. Called the family. Of course, family goes get the car, takes it home. Police then, I guess, actually take it seriously, take the car, process it. Of course, the car is already compromised. We've had police in it. We've had the tow truck move it. We had the family in it. They get it and process it. Nothing's found. They give it back. And honestly, that is where we're at since February 9th. That's it. No leads, no tips, nothing.
What city was it again?
Plant City, Florida. It said Plant City. It's on the outskirts of Tampa. It's in Hillsborough County.
So Sister Overstreet, if I can ask you,
Absolutely.
so what's been the last communication you've had with law enforcement? When was that even? I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I know you haven't heard anything, but at some point in time there was a last communication. What was that last communication?
You mean the last communication that my sister had?
I mean, as far as what the authorities or the people who should be investigating this, what was the last message they gave to you? Where'd they leave that off at?
Well, that's the funny part. We have to call them. They don't call us. Honestly, since February 6th or February 9th, they have only actually reached out to her mother. Oh, and I think that's important. We do have different moms, but we have the same dad. So when I say her mother, I no disrespect at all. But the whole entire time she's been gone, the detective has only reached out to her twice. Anything else, she has to call. Hey, leaving a message. Hey, give me a call. I mean, like, this is her only daughter. Her only daughter. But the last information is we were getting leads. We followed up. There is nothing. And of course, it's an ongoing investigation. Well, I don't know what they say. It's an ongoing investigation, so they can't give us details. Totally cool with that. Totally cool with that. However, now they're doing podcasts on cold case files, and of course, she was the very first cold case podcast they did.
Who did that?
Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office.
So are they doing the podcast because they're trying to get information, like they're trying to get more information out there?
Yes.
Okay.
When they actually advertised the podcast, though, the podcast was for cold cases, but they won't give us information because it's an ongoing investigation. I would like to also put in there that my sister came up on February 6th missing. There was another young lady that looks exactly like my sister, and I'll put a picture up if you don't mind. 3 weeks from when my sister her car came up found, and 7 miles away from where her car was found. I'm going to show you a picture, and I'll tell you, everyone says, oh my God, is that okay? Can you see that?
Like, move your head to the left a little bit. There you go. Perfect.
Oh, wow.
Y'all like how good I did that? Because it's totally to my right. I can be a professional docent.
Hey, man, you are the command center.
Good job. They do look so much alike.
They really, they do.
Yes. The other lady, her name is Veronica. Exactly, almost the same things. She dropped her kids off, left and went outside, left everything, her phone, her car, her wallet, her clothes, everything missing.
Man, that is wild. And from the same, you said Jupiter?
No, one is from Dover, one's from Plant City.
Dover, okay, Dover, Plant City.
7 miles away from each other. I know a lot of people don't think that these are connected, but it does seem kind of funny that these beautiful young women, round face, olive skin, dark hair, thick build, are just gone in the thin air. Just gone in the thin air. And green, long green, to answer your question, that's it. They have leads. They can't give us anything. They can't give us anything concrete because it's an ongoing investigation. And I have to respect that. I respect that.
Well, I mean, was there like... I'm sorry, go ahead, Longray.
So at this point, with you respecting that it is an ongoing investigation, are you comfortable with whatever facts that they're going to come back with?
No. Period. I don't trust them. It's 7 months. And you don't have one piece of evidence that you can say any evidence that they have is come from the family.
I feel like if it was around here, like is there water like where her car was or anything like that?
Actually, no. It is. It's where my sister's car is on Trapnell Road. It is. Plant City is very country. I mean, you have acres and acres of like empty land.
Okay.
And right beside this, this railroad track is called Foxy Strawberry Plant. There's it's a big strawberry patch, and I mean like at least 4 acres, and a plant. They actually have video cameras outside, but it didn't reach to the railroad tracks, so they couldn't see it. This street, this Trapner Road, is a very, 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 very busy street. It could be 2:00 in the morning, and you can sit out there and you see cars just coming and going, coming and going. It's a very, very busy road. Her car was found at 7:15, so this is 3 hours from the time that she dropped her boyfriend off. It is still light outside here in Florida. There is houses beside this railroad track, and I'm like Miss Cosby. Somebody, somewhere, knows something, and they need to talk. We have finally gotten a reward, a $5,000 reward for Kaya from the Taylor family. From the Taylor family, which is her mom's side of the family. Yeah. We're still working on increasing a reward for Veronica, because I do work very closely with her dad. Mm-hmm. Oh, he loves, it makes me want to cry just talking about him. Actually, Veronica was married, and her husband had said that he would put up the reward. He has now recanted on that reward, so she has no reward at all.
Oh, man.
Hey,
so
folks,
we're doing fundraisers. We're doing everything we can to try and increase, of course, Kaya's. And if anyone's ever on my Facebook page, you'll always notice if I do something, I split it with the Manharis family, because that's only right. We have to work together. We're bigger in numbers.
Yeah, that's for sure. Hey, real quick. Hey, guys, you're listening to the Heavy Hitters Radio Show. Man, looks like we got a new listener, Artonia J. Armstrong. She hit us in the chat. And she says she's praying for you and your family.
Thank you.
I'm not sure if you know her, but it's cool. She's never hit us up before, so that's pretty cool. And then Big Gates out of Houston, Texas, who is an avid listener to us, is like, man, y'all act like we can see what y'all talking about. So I sent him the Zoom so he can get in.
Oh, great!
He won't do it because he's not as good looking as D-Lo and Jeezy and myself. But as long as he knows.
Dorian's grandmother.
What's that?
Who's Shay?
Gotcha.
The lady who messaged you in the chat, Moose, is Dorian's grandmother.
Oh, okay. All right. Hey, Miss
that's Dorian's grandmother's who that is.
Miss Armstrong, man, we appreciate you being here. This is Moose at Get Big House Heavy Hitters, man. Welcome to the family. You are a neighbor of our show. Hey, excuse me, you guys listen to Heavy Hitters Radio Show. This is Moose, a.k.a. Big House, man. In the house, man, we have the lady of the show, the one and only Run. E.
MC.
And the dog.
She's up, and her dog. And I'm sneezing right this second because of that. And then we also have D-Lo. D-Lo. G. What's up, D-Lo? Hey, man. And then we got lots of guests here tonight. And man, I tell you what, the show is heavy. Miss Armstrong is listening. She is so she can hear us, right? And she's chatting on the screen. You guys can't see like in the compound studios, man. We're hooked up in here. It's like I can see her chats up in front of me. So you guys can't see it, but she said, "God bless you." Hey, we appreciate you. Matter of fact, and so you said she's Dorian's grandma?
Yes, she is.
Okay, so we're actually going to jump into that story here in a second, but I got to take a quick break just because Heavy Hitters Radio Show does lots and lots of, like I said, we give lots and lots of information, right? And we have what's called brews and reviews, right? D-Lo, you just put yourself on mute. No, you got to come back off mute. D-Lo, tell us what Brews and Reviews is all about.
Brews and Reviews is the Heavy Hitters Radio Show rating system. It's pretty much a reverse scale rating system where you can brew and review any product. And when I say brew and review, for example, the less brews that it takes you to enjoy something, the better it is. The more brews it takes you, the worse it is. If it takes you 1 or 2 brews, this thing was great. But if it takes you 7 or 8, it's on the other side of that. You can review any products, any experiences, anything you can assign a rating to, you can brew and review.
Outstanding, man. Hey, I appreciate you. Hey, man, shout out to Big Gates. He listens to us on Tuesdays while he's working. So he hit me up. So, folks, I don't know if you guys know or not, but people hit us up on social media. So I'm talking to him on Instagram, and then we have Miss Armstrong here that's on Spreaker, and then we got this thing going on. Hey, so real quick, I am watching this show that I'm so into, and it's called The Legends of Korra. So it's like the Airbender series with you know what I'm talking about, like with Aang and all that, and like it's the Legend of Korra. So it's the story that's after Aang passes away. And I know I'm sounding like such a nerd right now, but I do not care. It is must-see TV, and it's on Netflix. It's a cartoon, and I'm enjoying every ounce of it. The Legend of Korra. It's on Netflix. It's worth the watch. But what you might do is watch The Last Airbender first, then watch The Legend of Korra. It's, I don't know, it'd be about 10, 11 seasons or something, but it's for sure worth it. And then, man, The Boys came out, Ron.
It did.
What you think about
Jeezy's
that?
mad about it. I'm sad he's not here to talk.
The Boys, man. If you guys,
no spoilers.
If you guys haven't seen The Boys,
No spoilers.
What is it on? Amazon Prime?
It's on Prime Video. Jeezy's just mad because they only came out with 3 episodes.
Because they don't want people watching the whole thing in one day and being done with it. Who's got time like that?
How are we done?
I don't have time like that. Anyway, I'm not a binge watcher, folks. Hey, Kwame, is there anything? This is going to be a funny question for you. Is there anything that you watch on TV that you like?
You talking about as far as right now or something?
Right now.
All right now. So me and Katrina is watching The Wire. I don't know if y'all ever watched The Wire.
From like the 80s?
No, The Wire came out in 2002. But I was watching. This was one of my favorite shows in prison.
Okay.
So I like watching it because it's based on a true story,
right? And
it really gives you a real synopsis of all the dynamics that goes on in the streets with the police, with the politicians, with the media, and it gives you a real breakdown of what goes on and stuff. And a lot of me and Katrina be watching it because it really gives you a understanding of what's going on now in a lot of different ways. The little stuff they do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's today. Yeah. It cracks me up, man. On my Facebook, and I'm like, oh, we need peace and unity 6 years ago. Oh, yeah? Doing the same thing still? Man, it's ridiculous. Right. All right, hey, so I appreciate that. Hey, CG, what you watching, man? Colts fan, by the way. I like that.
Sorry about that. My mic was muted. What was that again, Moose?
What are you watching right now, man, that you can give a brew and review on?
Actually, I'm watching the screen right now, just kind of taking in all the information everybody's kind of giving out. You know what I mean? So I'm focused in right now.
Zero brews on the Heavy Hitters Radio Show. I can go ahead and answer that question for you. For Shizzo. Hey, let me see here. I tell you what. I can't never get this right. Shapavu. Can you unmute yourself? Hey. Are you watching anything on TV right now? Or are you focused?
Lovecraft Country.
What's that?
It's Jordan Peele, the producer of Us and Get Out.
Okay.
He has, I can't believe you all don't know about this. It's a series that comes on HBO Sunday night. And it is kind of an action-packed sci-fi type thing. And it takes place in the early 50s, all black characters, and I don't even know how to describe it.
Hey, is that the one with Janelle Monáe as the main character?
No, that's something different. That hasn't come out yet.
Okay.
I don't know if you all ever watched Underground. Did you watch Underground when that came out a few years ago?
I did not. I'm sorry.
Okay, y'all don't watch TV for real. It's got, what's the girl's name? The little light-skinned biracial girl. Her brother got in trouble for lying about being attacked in Chicago.
Okay. I don't know.
Jussie Smollett.
That's it. It's Journey Smollett. That's the lead character. But they're basically fighting racism, white folks, and monsters, and it's absolutely entertaining.
Did you say racism, white folks, and monsters?
At the same time, yeah.
Well, damn, I don't know how we all not watching that show. I don't even understand. Hey, what's up, Ron? Go ahead.
That's the life we live. It's just racist white folks are monsters. There was just some words missing from that sentence.
You are such an ally, man. People gotta love you, man. I don't understand it. Hey, man, you guys listen to Heavy Hitters Radio Show. We just talked about white folks, racists, and monsters, all in the same. And I tell you what, I'm sure you give it 0 views. So we need to look it up. I don't even have HBO. Yeah, all these channels, no HBO. And I think I get it for free, maybe. I just need to.
You got to get a 7-day free trial. I did that for 2 weeks in a row. I alternated email addresses. On the third week, I finally broke down and subscribed. So, yeah, that's what you do.
That's how you make it happen.
Did we record that part? Because I need to go back and play our hustle plan.
I remember. I got you, man. Hustle hard to go home. You know what I mean?
Hustle hard to go home.
Hey, you listen to Heavy Hitters Radio Show. Real quick. I mean, I didn't even ask you, but Chaplain, is there anything you're watching? Anything you're watching on TV that you might want to share and give us a brew and review? Even though you probably don't even drink brews, but you might have 2 sweet teas while you're watching it.
Yeah, that's basically it. But believe it or not, my favorite show is the World News. 6:30 every night, I'm on it.
Okay.
Because I have to see what 45 has done today.
I ain't mad at you. Is that with Lester Holt?
No, Lester Holt's on R13.
Yeah.
That's David Muir.
Okay. All right.
Channel 6. Yeah. He's really good.
Okay. All right. We appreciate you. So
I know, very boring. Very boring.
You know what? Information is power.
Yes, it is.
And that's what we're all about tonight. We're giving information. Matter of fact.
Well, you just informed me on those 300 judges. Oh, my God.
Hey, man, I pay attention. I watch the news, too. I just don't talk about it all the time.
It's depressing.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, guys, guess what's happening, man? Heavy Hitters Radio Show. This is Moose Gate Big House. Well, we did that. We just did that. This is Moose. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, it was select people got it.
Did you do one? I'm sorry. I apologize, Long Green. You don't have to act like that. Like you feel
We had already moved past that segment. Go ahead.
No, you don't have to act like your feelings are hurt, man. Just go, man. Just push me out the way, dog.
No, it's cool, man. We can do mine next week.
No. I need an album. We need an album. I'm sorry. I apologize.
No, man, it's all good. So, listen, man, I gotta give a big shout out to the vets in the hip hop game, man, because any vets who was vets and rapping and holding it down when I was a young guy and still doing it, man, salute to those guys. I mean, because I know the wave changed and how we get our music, everything else changed at some point in time. And to a lot of people, the old guys became dinosaurs, but just because they didn't necessarily move with the digital age doesn't mean that their talent left them. And there's some older guys that are still doing it. And this past weekend, as I was riding through the countryside of some beautiful American country, man, I got to hear the Curb Commentator by my man E. Fazzarelli, E40, Earl Simmons, and I got to tell you, double album, E40 is still absolutely fire. I mean, his wordplay is incredible. I think his music has become more mature in terms of dropping jewels and giving lessons to us young guys and maybe us still adults still trying to soak up game and what have you. So the E40 album, Curb Commentator, man, he sprinkled it moves. It had just the right amount of mariachi, you know what I'm saying? And I certainly viewed it from the scope that this is a damn pandemic, you know what I mean? And I still thoroughly enjoyed this, man. So the Curb Commentator, E40, still bang.
Hey man, I'm you know what I'm gonna check that out tomorrow, man. And I apologize, I missed you, man. Hey, but your trip looked amazing. Like especially when you almost got sick on the 4-wheeler going up the mountain. I thought that was interesting.
Yo, I almost got sick from both ends, man. Listen, I will honestly tell you, I knew I was going ATV and riding when I was out there. However, I just didn't know going into it, it'd be on the side of a mountain. I figured, you know what I'm saying, we jump on the ATVs, we're going to get dirty, bust donuts in a big mud field. Solid. I signed up for that. When we started going up elevation and hills and paths that weren't meant to be roads, and yo, it got real, man. But we made it up 9,000 feet, and you know what I'm saying. I thought I was out of here. I thought the last heavy hitter show I was on was my last heavy hitter show, man. Like I thought about it all, bro. I was a goner, man. But I had gotten so far in when I decided I couldn't do it no more. Then I realized there's only one way back. You know what I'm saying? So at that point, I was stuck. You know what I mean? So yeah, man. But at the end of the day, I didn't die, and I'm better for the experience.
Hey man, I'm really glad that you. I'm really glad that you didn't die. Like I'm glad to see you.
Thank you. It feels good to not have died that day.
And I apologize that I missed you. And so you know, I just want to be clear.
That's usually how Bruising Reviews happens around these parts.
See how you do?
You tell me to explain Bruising Reviews, but then that's where it ends for me.
You all right, man. I quit listening to you already. On my bad. All right, guys. Hey, listen up. Shapova. Did I say it right? Shapovalou Karima. She's here, folks. Say it again, sweetheart. Shupavu. Wow. Karima is here, and she is going to talk to us about her husband, Kevin Rashid Johnson. He's a member of the New African Black Panther Party. He's currently incarcerated. And from what I understand, there was an assassination attempt on his life at the maximum security prison. Matter of fact, it was Pendleton to be specific. And I don't even know how any of that stuff works, to be honest with you. I mean, you know, Moose, I've never been in a prison necessarily, so I don't know how that works. So we have some folks that understand kind of how that works. All right, and so Shapavu, if you could give us some information on what happened to your husband and what information you want to get out, the floor is yours.
I appreciate that. I first want to thank you for welcoming me here. I want to thank Comrade Kwame for making this happen. I want to tell you a little bit about my husband, Rashid. He is a co-founder of the New African Black Panther Party. He is actually the Minister of Defense. He is a very well-known political prisoner. He's been down for 30-plus years this past June. During this time, he has been incarcerated from Virginia, Florida, Texas, Oregon, Indiana, as part of an interstate compact agreement. They moved him around because he organizes wherever he goes. He has 2 books that he's published, Panther Vision, which is political theory, and Define the Tomb. Numerous articles, numerous interviews he's done, basically putting forth a political line in the vein of the original Black Panther Party. That's what the New African Black Panther Party is. It's the actual continuation of that original BPP in terms of political theory. And because of this, Rashid has faced every type of abuse you can imagine. He's been tortured. He's been, chained to walls. He's been chained to tables in cells where they, busted the windows out in the winter time trying to freeze him to death. chained to tables without any clothes. He had him on death row for a period of time, not because he had a death sentence, but because he's that dangerous. They did not want him to be in contact with any of the other prisoners. They sent him to Oregon, and when Oregon, that's the one state that has a higher prison population of white people than they do other races, which is strange. They sent him there, and they spread this rumor that he was this vicious killer. He hated white people. He was trying to start a race war, hoping to turn the Aryan gangs against him. Rashid touched down in Oregon, and he actually started organizing the Aryan Brotherhood along with the other Black and brown prison population. So he's a powerful, powerful man. Just recently, on August 25th of this year, because nothing else seems to work, starving him, beating him, denying him property or whatever, they colluded with another prisoner to make an attempt on Rashid's life. Rashid was able to successfully defend his life. He got away with 3 stitches in his hand, and the other person allegedly has life-threatening injuries at this point. Immediately following that, they had a disciplinary hearing that he was not invited to. They confiscated all of his legal property and paperwork, so he was not able to defend himself. He wasn't invited to the hearing, and he was sent to Wabash Valley Correctional Facility. And right now he is in the Supermax SHU unit, his special housing unit, which is nothing new to him. We've been down this road before. During his time at Pendleton, he was never allowed to speak to his attorney. They refused to put his attorney's phone number on his approved phone list. He wasn't able to visit with his attorney. Just crazy, crazy violation of constitutional rights, human rights, But these people are allowed to do this because the prisoner population, as, Pastor Ruth said earlier, that's like the most marginalized sector of our society. And if you hang a tag on somebody, a criminal, even though we understand that the ruling class and the current, judicial system creates crime, that's all that matters. Their voices aren't heard, they're not respected, and horrible things happen in these prisons. Pendleton was on Rashid because he continued to publish articles about the disgusting, inhumane treatment that these prisoners were going through in the midst of a global pandemic. It was horrible what was going on. They were throwing people who had been confirmed positive in with other people who had not been confirmed positive. They were not feeding them. They did not provide masks until, maybe last month is when prisoners actually got masks to protect themselves. They were not provided with cleaning supplies. They weren't being given medicine because nurses and staff didn't want to come on the wings. Just every possible violation of human rights. So we are calling on everyone to contact Wabash Valley Correctional Facility. Let them know you support Rashid. Let them know that we are watching. He's got international support. We've got comrades calling from as far away as Egypt and Germany. And we just want to continue to apply pressure. I'm in consultation right now with the People's Law Center out of Chicago, which is the same firm that handled Fred Hampton's trial after he was assassinated. So we have support and we're working. Kwame has been a huge help to me. So I really appreciate that, comrade. But that's where we're at right now. We just want to get the word out and publicize, for the people who don't know who Rashid is, we want to publicize that as widely as possible.
Man, I don't know. I normally have something to say and have a thought about it and all that stuff, but I'm a little bit lost for words at this point. I feel like society forgets about these gentlemen, right? And here's what happened. At some point, At some point, they committed a crime, right? And so society. I'm sorry.
Maybe not.
Right.
Maybe not. You know.
Right. No, you're absolutely right. At some point, there's a possibility. You know what? Thank you for setting me straight on that, because you're right. At some point, they might have committed a crime, and now they are incarcerated for years, decades, right? Sentenced to centuries, as we've already heard tonight. When you're sentenced to a century, holy cow, man, we know that you're not coming out of that. So, how should the common layperson like us, right, handle that situation? Like, how can we help? Matter of fact, I stole this from Ron, and she always asks that question.
That's a great question, because everybody is not going to be a revolutionary. Everyone is not going to want to be involved in direct action, and that's okay, because everybody has a part to play. I would suggest finding a revolutionary organization to support financially. And I'm not talking about Democrats, Republicans, or even the Green Party. I'm talking about a revolutionary organization. I'm talking about mutual aid organizations, people who provide bail funds, for the protesters who are out there. You can always make a phone call. You can always send an email. That's one of the major ways that you can help. And you don't even have to really leave your home. You always need people to make phone calls and emails. But I would say join or support a revolutionary organization. You all can look me up on Facebook, Shapavu Wakarima. Send a request. Look up my husband's page, Kevin Rashid Johnson. Send a request. Follow us. You'll see what's happening. You see how you can get involved. Send me your email addresses. I'll add you to a support list. You'll see the various organizations that we are in partnership and coalition with. There's something for everyone to do. You don't have to actually be out there getting tear gas because we realize that life is not for everybody, and that's okay. But don't feel like you're any less of a force in this movement, just because you choose a different path. Because we need somebody to get us out of jail when we go. So, somebody's got to stay at home.
Shapavu, man, you don't know how much I appreciate that term. From what I heard this from an elder, and I know y'all see this beard. I might be considered one at some point, but there's other guys that's over me, even, right? I'm still not sitting, and I'm not the one in the top 3 seats yet. I'm at the fire, but I ain't in the top 3 seats yet, right? And from what I understand, they always say is that you need the elders back making the decisions. You need the warriors out, creating change, right? The elders are making decisions and the warriors are making change. So I appreciate you for saying that, because you're absolutely right. And Kwame, real quick, I want you to chime in here real quick. This is going to be a crazy question for you, but I think you're prepared to answer it. What can businessmen and people that can't afford to be all in the street, all doing all that stuff, what can they do to help the cause, man?
Oh yeah, like Shapavu said, whatever thing your station in life, that's your means to support. And a business person, a lot of times in the revolutionary movement, we try to connect with the petty bourgeoisie class, the middle class. You know what I mean? The ones that have these small shops and small businesses that make enough money where they can live a good life. But also support the ones out here that's trying to struggle and make our community better and struggle for different relations amongst people and stuff. Because a lot of the people, the business sector are not the big bourgeoisie. They're not the 1%. Those aren't the transnational corporations that's stationed in different countries. It might be a ma and pa store in your neighborhood that cut hair or or barbecues and stuff like that can lend a couple dollars to the movement to help support our community. You know what I mean? And I think that's important that the business sector actually does their contribute and financially to the movement, because a lot of people don't realize, like for instance, when Malcolm X died, he was poor. You know what I mean? When we do these things out in the streets, if we don't have financial support out here, it's hard for us to get by. You know what I mean? To even pay our bills. We have lives as well. You know what I'm saying? We have car payments. We got house payments. We got car insurance payments. Just being able to sponsor a revolutionary, you know what I'm saying? Or sponsor a family like Katrina, or sponsor a person that's being killed by the police. You know what I'm saying? Their family, to help them advocate their cause, like Monteria Robinson, Vita Washington Sterling, LaToya Hale, Chantel Brooks, Lisa Simpson. Some of these people that's been on this show, sponsoring these families so they can get their case out there. You know what I mean? So to me, that's one of the biggest things that a lot of people can do in the business sector to support. I want to add this, though, because Shapabu's husband right now is on the shoot. What she did leave out is these Supermax units is a problem. If you read this report that Human Rights Watch put out in 1997 called Cold Storage, all international institutions around the whole world looks at these institutions as torture and a violation of international law. You know what I'm saying? And they're using these same units, the same units that they hold ISIS and Al-Qaeda people on, and they even deem that torture and against international laws and stuff. Those same units was modeled after the Supermaxes over here in the United States. You know what I'm saying? I did over 10 years on these units. As strong as I am, I can tell you this, it affected me. You know what I'm saying? I saw people that committed suicide on there. They even only had a year on these units. I saw people that, went crazy. One of my best friends went on that unit, mentally broke down, and I watched this man just literally mentally break down and have a nervous breakdown, seeing stuff that's not there, and let me know, man, I know what I'm seeing ain't real, but bro, I can't control my mind and stuff. And you can't see, you can see the physical scars on a person when they're stabbed or whipped or beat up, but it's hard to see the mental scars that a lot of people suffer from, like post-traumatic stress and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? I know even I might even have post-traumatic stress to this day. You know what I'm saying? Because I can get angry real quick, and I know it comes from those units. And my lack of fear comes from those units. It bred all the fear out of me. You know what I'm saying? So some of the stuff I can do out here that other people can't do is because those units bred all the fear out of me. Because they did all the torturing that a lot of human beings ain't never had to endure. So it breeds that stuff out of you. It socially conditions you to relate to the world in a whole nother way.
All right, so I got a question for you. The masses are going to ask someone like you, if it breeds that out of you, why do we let you go? That's a huge question.
That's a good question. And this is why, like, one of the things that, like me, Kevin Rashid Johnson represent, we believe that when people go to prison, those should be turned into schools of liberation. When you go in there and educate yourself and pick up books, even though you might be, society might have left a permanent scar on your social personality.
Yep.
By being educated and conscious, you can take those social scars and channel it in a direction for good. You know what I'm saying? If I would have never picked up no books and would have came back out here to society, I'll let you know, like this, Moose, I would have been out here just like a lot of these dudes out here and reaping havoc on our community, because I wouldn't have had no purpose, no meaning, no direction, no understanding of why these conditions are like they are out here and why they even created an individual like me. You know what I'm saying? I even had to study psychology books to understand what they was doing to my mind on those units and stuff, so people can be redeemed. Okay. That's one people have to understand. But because these units exist And a lot of people are not coming in there and educating themselves, because even in prison, some of the drugs I came across, I didn't come across it first out here in the streets. I came across it in prison. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of the people that's locked up for the crimes they in there for, like the dope fiends and stuff, they got 50 years for doing drugs. They go in there and still do the same thing. How does it get in there? It comes in there by the same system. The same system, the police, the sergeants, lieutenants. This is the same people that's putting it out here on the streets in our community, locking us up. That's why I say read the New Jim Crow by Michelle Alexander, and you'll understand what this war on drugs is really about. It's to undermine Black liberation movements. You dig what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, we have to organize even around shut down these supermaxes, because they're creating sociopaths. And people talk about the violent crime out here. Some of these brothers that's coming out here, man, is coming out here because the system damaged them purposely. This is by design, because they're putting them back in the Black and brown community. And when they come out here, they coming out here with viciousness on their mind, because they was damaged and tortured. If you put a pit bull in a cage, in a dark cage, and you torture that pit bull, that's how you make that pit bull vicious. You know what I'm saying? It's the same with human beings. But once you become conscious, though, you can challenge that in a way where you can fight for our community. And that's what I've been out here doing, fighting for our community. Yeah, I don't have no fear. Yeah, I got a lot of aggressive and anger built up on me, but I'm going to take it against my real enemy that is committed genocide on our people for 400 years. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And do it for good instead of being out here destroying our community.
So I think it's important. I think it's important, though, like what Comrade said, to really take another look at what we consider to be crime and what we consider to be criminal. You know, because what is happening in these institutions, and he touched on this a little bit, that's the real crime. You know, a lot of these laws that, you know, have our Black and brown brothers and sisters too, you know, come into contact with the prison industrial complex. These are designer laws that were created to affect our communities disproportionately, you know, because private prisons need prisoners to create profit. So we really have to take another look at what is crime and what is criminal. You know, this system perpetuates crime and criminality, and that's just that on period.
Okay, man. You know what? I mean, here's the thing. I think, hey, folks, you guys listen to Heavy Hitters Radio Show, by the way. Man, we got D-Lo 400 in the house, man. We got Run EMC in here. And speaking is Moose, a.k.a. Big House. And you guys are listening to a show. The title is No Justice, No Peace, Heavy Hitters Radio Show. Now, I know what people are going to say. People that listen to this show are going to say, well, they shouldn't have committed the crime. They're gonna say, well, Michael Lane shouldn't have got in the car. Whatever Kwame did, he shouldn't have did it. Whatever Rashid did, he shouldn't have did. Then they wouldn't have been in trouble. That's a lot of our listeners are going to say that. There's no question. They're gonna say, well, why were they there? You know, I mean, that is the reality of the listeners that we have on our show. The only one, you know what? They're going to have compassion for Kaya. She wasn't doing nothing. She was riding in her cars. They got compassion for Kaya. But the rest of them, because I don't know if you guys know or not, but we have a very diverse audience. And some of them are going to be like, man, I understand. But the rest of them are going to be like, yo, they shouldn't have been there.
Let me answer that, Moose.
Please do.
So this is what I say to the ones that say that. You got to put things in historical perspective. As a revolutionary, I'm a historical materialist. We have to see the coherency of history to see how things even got to the way it is today. And I've said this time and time on this show, when you've killed all of our real leaders, like Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Fred Hampton, Bunchy Carter, George Jackson, like y'all trying to do Kevin Rashid Johnson, like y'all trying to do me and a lot of other people out here, and you don't have those examples in our community. When you lock up people like Mutulu Shakur, when you individuals like Bobby Gore for something he ain't do, and then you turn around and flood our community with drugs and stuff. Richard Nixon, H.R. Heidelman was his senior advisor. In his diary, he said, the real problem in America is the black population, but we can't seem like we're targeting them because, this is the ending of segregation. So this is when they come up with the war on drugs. So when we look at how the drugs infected our community, in 1982 is when the war on drugs was even enacted. A lot of the people that, like I said, read New Jim Crow by Michelle Alexander if you want to do your homework and understand what's going on today. But drugs wasn't a problem in 1982. And a lot of the individuals, the chiefs of police around the country was like, violent crime is the problem. Why are y'all want to put money in the drugs? And Ronald Reagan said, look, invest in the drugs. We'll give you federal money. We'll send you military equipment. Voila, Freeway Rick Ross happens. Freeway Rick Ross, if you know the story of Freeway Rick Ross, biggest drug dealer in the history of the United States, the CIA, through a guy named Danilo Blandon, was funneling drugs into the black community from outside of the United States. And the CIA was part of this. At the same time, they're flooding our community in the United States. Over in California, it got so flooded with drugs that even the Bloods and the Crips had to leave to even make money. So they spread the violent gang culture that came about once they cut off all the leadership of these street organizations. Because a lot of people have been on here learning about Benny Lee, Ike Taylor, and Melvin and all them. They was against that drug stuff. You know what I'm saying? You couldn't even bring drugs in Chicago. But once you knock off leadership like that and replace it with other opportunistic leadership, and then you spread this gang culture, this new era of gang culture around the country, you have created conditions in our community where majority of the people is going to grow up wanting to be like gang bangers, going to want to be drug dealers, pimps, stick-up men. These are the examples I saw coming up that I looked up to in my community because I didn't know no Fred Hamptons in my community. I didn't know no Malcolm X's in my community. Only thing I could look up is to be maybe at the very most a preacher or something like that. But a lot of the preachers and stuff wasn't in our community standing out there with us. A lot of them was scared to come to our community. It wasn't a lot of Martin Luther Kings that come over here and really was out here in the community with us youngsters that was trying to find our way in life. They grew up at a time when we was trying to find our identity and was angry at life because we didn't have no real direction. You dig what I'm saying? So if you look at the concerted pieces of puzzle that came together for a lot of the conditions in our community, they created the perfect storm. I feel like Malcolm X, I was destined to go to prison one day in my life because I didn't have that example to really help me stay on a path that where I am today. I would have never picked up no book about the Black Panther Party until I went to prison. You know, the first time I heard about the Black Panther Party was from this preacher that was talking about the Black Panther Party was like the Ku Klux version of the a black version of the Ku Klux Klan. So we getting miseducation as well. We going to school, never learning our real history. They telling us about Christmas addicts that fought for a country that didn't care about him.
He didn't fight. He got shot. He got shot right away. Like Christmas addicts got shot right away. He didn't fight. He didn't get a chance to fight. Hey, so real quick. Holy cow, folks! Y'all know Kwame. Like if we let him go, he'll just go and go and go. It'd be midnight. We'd be sitting up in here. Hey. It's the Heavy Hitters Radio Show. We got Kwame Shakur on here. We got Chaplain Ruth Taylor in here, man. We got Shapovu. How come I can't say it right? Shapavu Karima. I said it.
Yeah, it's Shapavu.
Shapavu's up in here, man. Hey, I tell you what, guys. CG. I believe he's sending the videos, and if you haven't seen it, matter of fact, I'm going to get into his story, Mr. Morrell. We're going to get into that story right now, and so he's going to tell you what the names of those videos that are on YouTube. I've watched them myself. By the way, I got them last week, and I watched them, and holy cow. So I can't wait to hear his perspective on them. And Kwame, let him talk. I know you know about it, but let CG talk, man. I know how you are. Long Green 400, you good? Oh, gosh.
Just putting information in the chat and requesting information.
Okay. All right. Outstanding. Run. You good to go?
Yes, I'm fired up. I got a whole list of to-do items over here just based on what we talked about tonight. You know how I roll.
All right. Outstanding. All right, guys. Here's our last story. Here's our last story of the night. And I'm not sure why I take notes on my phone because I probably shouldn't. Because then I got to dig it out. I got to look for it. And then I got to find what I'm looking for. But here, I got it right here. So let me see here. All right. So my man CG is up in here. I have his government name and I didn't tell it. I know what it is and I didn't say nothing.
That's all right.
So he's gonna give us the real story behind Dorian Morrell. He was murdered at a protest in Indianapolis on May 31st, 2020. And from what I understand, the person that was locked up didn't do it. So man, we're gonna get the direct information from CG, who is Dorian's cousin. And then Kwame has also been working with the family, so he's gonna have his thoughts in there as well, just not as much as CG. All right, CG, what's happening, man? It's Moose, aka Big House.
Hey, how you doing, Moose, man? I appreciate you for having me on, man. We just trying to get light to this situation and get the real facts out to the community because the media is twisting the story and it's not really true what they're saying out there.
Okay, talk to us.
All the time. This all started during the George Floyd protest downtown Indianapolis, May 30th. There was a lot of commotion going on. There was a lot of things going on downtown. There was a lot of things reported. During those things that were going on, I guess there was a so-called altercation that was reported by the so-called shooter by the name of Tyler Newby. This happened on the Circle right by the Chase Bank. There's a couple of hotels there. There's a Chase Bank right there on the corner. There's plenty of buildings around. When the so-called altercation happened, what was reported by Tyler Newby is that him and his friend was just downtown seeing what's going on. They wanted to know what was going on during the protest. For whatever reason, he had a firearm on him, which I don't understand why you want to bring a firearm to a peaceful protest to begin with anyway. They said they were walking around downtown, and they said they picked up one of the gas canisters that the police were shooting into the crowd. Once they picked that up, Tyler Newby then stated he was surrounded by a group of thugs, is what he said, which we all know what that means. You know what I mean? Black guys is what he really wanted to say, but he said a group of thugs. Then he said that he doesn't know from who or from where, but somehow he was either shoved or pushed and he ended up on the ground. He also reported once he hit the ground, he didn't know what was going on. When he looked up, he said that he seen my cousin Dorian standing over him, and his first instinct was to shoot. He wasn't being attacked. Dorian was unarmed. There's a lot of speculation that was about what happened. There's a lot of things that were twisted, but we're trying to provide the real facts about it. At first, they were saying there was no video footage of it. They were saying there was no witnesses. The only witnesses the only stories that they reported was the so-called shooter, Tyler Newby, and his so-called friend. I'm not sure what his name is. They said they ran from the scene. Tyler reported once he ran from the scene, he met up with his friend a couple of streets over and asked his friend, what should he do? He said that his friend then told him that he should turn himself in. Then he said, Tyler stated that they then went on to find the closest police officer that they could find. And the reporter says that he gave the police officer a 9mm handgun. He told the police officer that he was in an altercation with someone around the Circle. He doesn't know exactly where. And he shot the person and ran off is what he reported to the officer. When my family first got the report, It was kind of speculation about what was going on. Some things weren't adding up. So we started digging deeper into the case. Once we got deeper into the case, there was some disturbing evidence that was brought forth by a few eyewitnesses that were on the scene. We have recorded statement. I have actual video footage of the shooting, which is in the link that I sent you guys. It kind of explains everything that's going on with it. Once we started digging into it and finding evidence that was brought forth to us, we were kind of raising questions. And I mean, how is there a IMPD investigation and you don't have all the evidence? They never interviewed anyone but the shooter and his friend. And I guess there's some other things that was going on that night. I don't want to say any names or, damage anybody else's case that from things that were going on, but they're trying to link Dorian to some other guys that were down there doing other things. And they're trying to say that he was in the act of committing malicious crimes at the time. That's the angle that Tyler Newby's lawyer is trying to use to say it was self-defense. But the only thing about it, to be committing self-defense, you have to be attacked. You have to have a threat coming at you. So there was no threat. He was not being attacked. Tyler Newby even stated in his own statement that he didn't know who pushed him. No one was in the process of hitting him. He thought he was going to get hit. That's the reason why he shot. Like I said, that's our reports for him. Once we started getting evidence in, I was able to get my hands on some video footage that contradicts everything that Tyler Newby reported. If there was an altercation, if there was two people running from the scene, people would have noticed that. There was too many people down there. Also, not only that, there was a police officer that was within a matter of 50 to 75 feet away from the actual shooting, and there was no report from him of anything. He never reported seeing anybody running from the scene. None of the eyewitnesses never said anything about anybody running from the scene. So now we're figuring out, okay, where do we go from here? If you guys look at the videos, the video is self-explanatory. It goes through step by step. It tells you what's going on. It tells you what was reported, and it shows the contradictions in what was reported. From what we find, we honestly are starting to believe that Tyler Newby is not the shooter. We believe that this is something that was committed by either white supremacists or possible shot by IMPD officer. I have a picture of the actual IMPD officer that's standing not even 50 feet away with a 9mm carbine rifle in his hand, which is what IMPD carries in their arsenal, and also which is the caliber of bullet that they say that shot Dorian. But at the same time, they don't have any type of ballistic evidence. They told us it may take anywhere from 6 to 7 weeks for an autopsy. Only thing they have is the gun. I even spoke with the prosecutor. I've been in contact with the prosecutor myself. And he even told me that there was no shell casings found on the scene to match to the gun, which I don't understand how that can even happen. There's just a lot of questions that's going on. There's a lot of speculation and things aren't adding up. So we're in the process of trying to get the actual facts out to the community and to the media. That way we can bring light on exactly what's going on. Hopefully we can get some other people to come in. Yeah, he's showing the picture there. That's in front of the Chase Bank. I don't understand how there could be a shooting or altercation and you have a trained IMPD officer within a matter of 50 to 75 feet away and he doesn't report anything. Multiple people on the scene there said that there was no altercation. Even Dorian's brother, which was with him at the time, said there was no altercation. If there was an altercation and people running from the scene, there's too many cameras down there. No one was caught running from the scene. Even on the video that Moose is showing there on the screen, you even hear someone on the actual video footage say they're shooting from the building or they're shooting from the roof. You don't hear anyone on screen say, oh, that guy just shot him and ran off. You don't hear anyone say, oh, he just shot him or anything like that. Only thing people are saying is they don't know where the shots are coming from. There were also reports in the area that the only people in the area that were firing any type of weapon was IMPD. There was also white militia in the area that was armed, and they were also, in the area as police were. At the same time that Dorian was shot, if you also look at the video, there's 2 kids laying on the ground. If it was actually done as Tyler Newby reported, how can one bullet hit 2 kids at the same time? When you look at that footage, one of the kids on the ground is curled up in pain. He's crying because he was hit with a rubber bullet. The other kid laying on that ground is my cousin Dorian with the bullet hole in his chest that killed him. So we're trying to understand, how does one shot hit two people with two different type of bullets? One person dead, one person's not. All the evidence that they're trying to say that they're bringing forth, it just doesn't add up to what video footage that we've come across and what statements that we have come across from actual eyewitnesses. So we're here, trying to get the word out. Hopefully somebody can come forth with some more evidence to help us out, to get more light on this story. But our family is just really in, we're at all right now. We're just trying to figure out what's going on. Nothing's adding up for us. The prosecutor's office really isn't dealing with us, really. They're giving us bits of information that they have to. The media doesn't want to cover it because there was a white shooter. There's just a lot of things that's going on that doesn't add up about it.
So all right. So I want to get a few things squared away. So Tyler Newby is a pilgrim. Is that right?
Yes, he is. Okay. Actually, we've also found out his father is also in connection with IMPD law enforcement somehow. I don't know how, which is also a reason why we think it played in factor of him getting a $250,000 bond on a murder charge, which is unheard of in Indiana. I spoke with the prosecutor and I asked him, okay, so if I was going to a gas station, I come out the gas station, somebody pushes me to the ground, I get up and shoot the first person I see, what's going to happen to me? He told me I'll be locked up for murder and I wouldn't get a bond. So I'm trying to understand, why does Tyler Newby get a bond? And basically the evidence that we brought forth is contradicting everything. So he should be brought back into custody and there should be a proper investigation done, but they're not trying to do that.
So Mr. Newby is out. Is that right?
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. He's out on $250,000 bond. He got out about 2, maybe 3 weeks ago.
Okay. All right. So then, okay. So your cousin was out on this protest night.
Yes.
And
he was one of the peaceful protesters out downtown during the protest.
Right. And so he's down. And I watched the video. By the way, guys, the video is called Justice for the number 4 Dorian. It's on YouTube. Justice for Dorian. You can look it up on YouTube. You can pull it up right there. It's right there for you. I have, matter of fact, I have 2 copies of it because Kwame is thorough. So he sent me two copies of that, and I got another.
Well, actually, there's 2 different videos there. The first video kind of explains the situation and what was reported by Tyler Newby in the police report.
Yeah.
The second video goes into the contradiction of why the evidence isn't adding up to the story that he told.
Right. I have 2 of the second one and 1 in the first one. That was my point.
Okay.
He made sure. He made sure I knew what was happening. And so, folks, man, you listen to Heavy Hits Radio Show, and like I said, we bring the news to you, and this is news in the city that we do the show. I don't know if you guys know or not, but Moose was born on 10th Street in Hallville, USA. The reason I got this belly, you can't see the belly right now, but the reason I got this belly because I live right down the street from Long's Bakery. Yeah, like for several years, you know what I mean? And so I never could get rid of the belly, and I'm a man of a certain age now because of it. But anyway, these stories are happening here in Indianapolis, Long Green 400. What questions do you have for CG?
Man, my condolences, man. Certainly, we've been hearing his name quite a bit.
Appreciate it.
Just around the Black community and social media and what have you. At this point, you know what I'm saying? How can the community best support you? What's kind of the end game, and what does justice look like for Dorian at this point for you?
Right now, justice is information for us right now. There's so many questions behind what actually happened that we really don't know what direction to go in. But our main position right now is trying to get the truth out to the community and get the actual facts in, because this case is still under investigation. This case is still currently going on. He goes back to court actually later on here in September for an evidence hearing. So we're still going through the process. We don't want to damage anything that could help us figure out what's going on. But at the same time, we need to get the information out there because the media is not doing what they're supposed to do as far as reporting it to the community.
I wonder what's the reason? Like, what's the reason that? Because when Kwame hit me up, I'm like, I don't think I've heard about this a whole lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, this is something that I haven't heard
They're
about.
doing their best. They're doing their best to try to sweep it under the rug because of the implications that could come behind it with IMPD, the white supremacists, or whoever case it may be. Like I said, even if Tyler Newby was the shooter, please show us the evidence that actually proves him being the shooter. Because if he was the shooter, then it was an unlawful killing. You know what I mean? I have a Indiana gun permit myself. If someone's threatening you and they're unarmed, they don't have a knife, or they're not actually causing damage to you, you're not supposed to shoot them above the waist anyway. So why, if he was unarmed, why would you shoot him in the chest anyway, even if you had to stop him for a reason of him trying to hit you, whatever the case may be, if he was unarmed? But there's multiple reports that he wasn't even a threat to him.
So then on top of that, let me add this, Move. Then on top of that, this happened downtown. It's 1 million cameras downtown, but y'all can't come up with a camera view of this dude shooting Dorian and running away. You know what I mean? But we got video footage from cameras, cell phone cameras from different directions, showing that this altercation never even happened. If a white supremacist gonna shoot a black person in front of all these other black people, you gonna hear people saying, "Hey, look, that white guy that's running away, he just shot this guy right here." You know what I mean? But you don't hear that nowhere on the camera. The only thing you hear is like, "Oh shit, they're shooting from buildings." So we don't know if he got shot on the ground, because one thing we do know, like he just emphasized, that one person got shot with a rubber bullet, and then Dorian got shot with a real bullet. So that just tells you right there, there's a police officer right there on the scene. And one of the people that was videotaping and recording and taking pictures, he took a picture of the police officer on the ground that he thought that shot him. Other people was thinking it was coming from the building. So we don't know if it came from a police officer with that 9mm rifle in his hand in the street, or if it came from the building. But what we do know is that the police and white supremacists were seen downtown in the buildings in the snipers. That's one reason why we didn't go down there that night, is because we heard about the snipers being in the buildings down there. I think that's the night we shut down 38th Street instead.
Well, not only that, too, also Kwame and Moose, I was actually able to obtain some more video footage of a group of white supremacists on top of the parking garage right there where Dorian was shot. This video footage shows them loading up guns. This video footage shows them putting on bulletproof vests. This video shows them setting up posts on top of this building, waiting for dark to come. And this is the same building that was on top of where Dorian was shot at. So there's just too many implications and too much evidence that points away from Tyler Newby for it to be Tyler Newby. So like I said, if it is Tyler Newby, I wish they please would come with more evidence to actually prove that, because it will open up more doors that they're trying to shut right now. So it's just an act of a cover-up by IMPD and the prosecutor's office is the way we're looking at it, because they're working together to hide the information from the public.
And we not saying that Tyler shouldn't be charged with something, but we saying he should be charged with the proper crime he committed. If it's conspiracy and he want to take the fall for the white supremacists that he works with, or the pigs, then he needs to be locked up for that conspiracy. But the person, whoever shot him, that's the person who should be locked up for murder. And the prosecutor needs to do his job instead of trying to cover it up for the system. At this one thing that Corey left out is that when Dorian got locked up, 2 weeks after he got locked up, his GoFundMe page blew up. He got $300,000 in his bank account all overnight like that. Who gets $300,000 overnight? You know what I'm saying?
Well, it was about 14 days, I believe, is what it was. It was about a week or two, but I mean, that's a hell of a just off of a GoFundMe like that. He already had the support behind him. It's like,
so wait, he got locked up for some reason?
Well, this is the thing. He got locked up when he turned himself in here for murder, and then he also had another hold in Johnson County for other charges not related. I'm not for sure what those charges were for. But,
okay.
When he was locked up here in Marion County, they immediately moved him from Marion County to Johnson County for they say special circumstances is what they say.
Okay.
Which was never information provided on why or given the actual reason of what those circumstances are. It's just been speculation of this and that. There's been things, just comments thrown around about it.
So, man.
I have some things.
Go.
Moose, I think you didn't hear a whole lot about Dorian's case because I believe this was near the same time that Dre'Shaun Reed was shot. And so I think that story kind of overtook Indianapolis during that time. TG, I have a couple questions for you. So my activism lane is writing. So I remember writing and asking for the autopsy to be released for Dorian. It has not been released to the family?
No, it has not. They gave us an explanation of, they told us basically the method of killing. What they told us was that the entry wound for the bullet was through his chest, through his heart, through his esophagus, and out his back. Which, I'm not a medical major or anything like that, but common sense tell you if you're standing over the top of a person and they shoot you from up under you, that bullet's not going to travel in that type of direction. Mm-hmm. So, that's another thing that kind of raises question of how does a bullet go that type of direction and you're standing over the top of a person that you just knocked on the ground? It just doesn't add up. But no, they have not released the autopsy yet. I spoke with the actual prosecutor myself. And he said that it could be another, 6 to 8 weeks before autopsy is even given to us.
Okay. And so in looking at writing to our local officials, what else should we ask for right now in addition to that autopsy?
Really, the autopsy will tell a lot. Honestly, from what we feel like, there should be a revoke of his bond and he should be taken back into custody and there should be a proper investigation done. Because we don't understand how does IMPD say that they conducted a proper investigation, but you guys didn't have the video footage. You guys didn't interview anyone. Only thing you did was go off of the shooter, his so-called friend, and I don't know whoever else that they got downtown at the time, but there wasn't really a proper investigation done.
Okay.
And ballistic reports. We still ain't got the ballistic reports. I think the ballistic reports would show that the angle of where he shot was not consistent with like Corey said with what Tyler Newby claims that what happened. You know what I mean? I would just want to add one little point too that put it in historical perspective. Yeah, the person that killed Martin Luther King. Because people talk about conspiracies and stuff like that. A lot of people don't know that the King family, to the day, the person that was in prison for killing Martin Luther King, they actually came to his aid and tried to help him get out of prison because they realized he wasn't even the person that killed Martin Luther King. You know what I'm saying? So they don't have no problem. I don't even know how some of this stuff even gets organized like this because it's like out of a straight movie and stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's what even the situation with Rashid or even with the situation with Katrina and Michael Lane and stuff. A lot of this stuff is like we wasn't here and actually experiencing this. People couldn't even actually believe this could even happen. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, with the situation with Martin Luther King, if the Martin Luther King family went to bat for the person that didn't kill him, and it was a bigger conspiracy behind who killed Martin Luther King, and we don't know to this day, this is even more important to solve this because whoever shot him is still out here today. If it's an IMPD officer or a white supremacist out here today and they're terrorists, and we should call them for what they is, and they should be locked up for murder.
Hey, so folks, listen to Heavy Hitters Radio Show, man. Holy cow, like I'm a little bit dumbfounded by all the information we've gotten, and I can tell you that. Oh wait, there's a look on the board here. Let me see. And Artonia Armstrong, they are covering up something. I feel it in my belly. That's the grandma, right? And
yes, it is.
And then she said Tyler's GoFundMe.
Uh-huh.
So
that's the shooter. She said
Tyler's GoFundMe is what Miss Armstrong posted. Miss Armstrong, I need to pay attention to that. A lot of people don't hit us up on that, so I appreciate you listening and chiming in, man. Hey, man, shout out to all the neighbors at the Heavy Hitters Radio Show and the new folks that we have. Man, you know what? Keep listening to us. It's not always as heavy, by the way. Sometimes we are totally silly for about 2 hours, and then we go to bed. So it's like that sometimes. Hey, all right. So listen up. I got some. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Can I add one thing real quick?
Please.
For all of our listeners. So I will draft some letters to our local officials, especially on behalf of the Indy 3 and Dorian. And so then the heavy hitters can take those emails and post them so that in numbers we can send those messages to our local officials.
Done
Okay.
deal, man.
Appreciate that. We appreciate that. That's one thing that we're trying to do also is just kind of get the community behind this. That way we can try to get the real evidence out.
Done deal.
Maybe
Now,
I can do something about Rashid too,
Also,
because Rashid happened that he's in Indiana as well, down in the Supermax. If we can get some support by email campaign, calling and stuff like that, because they try to assassinate him just a week and a half ago. You know what I mean?
so I think what I need to do. I think what we need to do, Kwame, is get Run on there because she's good at this, and you and Shapavu, and then that way she can draft it the way it's supposed to be, and then we can post it for you guys and get it out there that way. How's that? So we just need to schedule before we get off here. We'll schedule another Zoom for that day. Hey, so real quick, guys, man. I'm so glad that you guys hung here tonight, man. You heard 4 heavy stories about people that have either been imprisoned, been taken, and we don't have no idea where they are, or killed with no explanation. And all we're looking for, if you know Moose in the regular world, you know that one of the things I ask for is to remain peaceful. I always ask people to mentor somebody, and I always ask you to rock cool socks. And then I also want you to have unity, right? And so one of the things we need to have is I think we're all looking for unity. Tyler Newby, I'm going backwards here. Tyler Newby is a pilgrim, and these guys aren't saying fry him. They're saying find the guy who killed my family member. That's what we're looking for. Find the guy that killed my family member, and let's prosecute him, not this guy, unless he's the one that's conspiring. And then guess what? Then he has charges. All right.
Well, he's got to be linked in. He's got to be linked in there some way, Moose, because without him, he's basically the determining factor if they can sweep that up under the rug or not. So he's involved regardless. I mean, we just want the truth and the facts to come out, and there's no way that he couldn't be involved in it.
For sure. No, you are absolutely right, sir. Hey, I tell you what, man, we want justice for Kevin Rashad Johnson. I mean, you know what? Regardless of what got him in prison, the man doesn't need to have to defend himself all the time, especially on some stuff that have nothing to do with him, right? And just because he's an organizer, and we already know, and guys, we already know, by the way, when all the street organization guys were on a couple weeks ago, we know that they keep these organizers in prison because what? They're organizers. We already know that, and they become political prisoners. So Kevin Rashad Johnson, man, we know we want nothing but justice for you. We want safety. We want safety for you. Matter of fact, at the end, when we're gonna close the show tonight, we're gonna have the chaplain. We're gonna have the chaplain do a prayer for all these folks, man, because I feel like we need to, because it makes sense for sure. So guys, real quick, justice for Dorian at 317@gmail. That's how you hit up the family in Dorian's case. All right, and Kaya guys, Kaya Taylor Overstreet. I'm so proud of myself. Like I remember it. Kaya Taylor Overstreet. You know what? She's been missing since February 6th, 2020. And what the heck is going on? Like
right.
we want people to get with the family, let them know what's happening. Let them get it. Just communicate with them. Long Green, looks like you had a thought. Do you have something to say about anything I've said so far? Okay, all right. So folks, if you're down in Florida, Finding Kaya at Yahoo. Finding Kaya, so it's Finding CIEHA. CIEHA. Finding CIEHA. Finding Kaya at yahoo.com, man. Hit them up. Matter of fact, I'll pull it all up so I can say it again. All right, I can pull it all up so I can say it again. But hey, listen, human trafficking, I know it's not what we're necessarily talking about right here, but it is a serious situation.
But it could be. It could be. We don't know.
That's right. It is a serious situation, folks. And there are black women. There are women of color, Mexican, Asian. By the way, I don't know if y'all know now, but there's pilgrim children missing too. By the way, they snatching all of them, folks.
The Indian population, the Indian women, and I'm by no way a racist person. I love everybody, but our black and brown, to include Indians, to include Mexican, Puerto Rican, they're just coming up missing like nothing.
They're
just plainly coming missing.
The indigenous people.
Yeah, absolutely. I was doing a lot of research on even sex trafficking. There is a $64 billion industry for trafficking. That is more than Nike. That is more than Google. That is more than Facebook makes in a year. It's a $64 billion industry. It's the second most organized crime broken law in the nation. Not gangs, not drug dealers. It is the second most leading cause.
No. I tell you what, Katrina, you are right. I saw the news. I want to say this weekend, it may have been Sunday, where they went out, the U.S. Marshals and a lot of local law enforcement in Michigan, Indiana, Ohio, and Illinois, and they brought back several hundred children that were missing, that they found, that they tracked down. And so
8 in Indiana, from what I just saw.
Yeah, no, it's bad.
26. It was 26 that they found in one place in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And then they found another 18 in Atlanta in the same day.
Yeah,
right?
It's
that's
bad.
why I say I cannot say that my sister has not been human trafficked, but there is no concrete evidence to either of these young ladies. But look at them. And our black and brown women are missing at enormous rates. I'm sorry, I got to put it out there.
I appreciate the fact. By the way, I appreciate the fact that all you guys, you know what, you spoke your mind, but you weren't degrading. Degrading. Am I saying that? Am I saying that right? You weren't degrading to other races, to other organizations. You just spoke, hey, here's what's happening, and we need some help. And then I'll tell you what. What's that?
I do my research.
That's right.
Hey,
no, we definitely appreciate it. Yes, CJ.
Hey, that was one thing I also forgot to mention. It is very ironic that FBI federal agents and the prosecutor for Marion County did a press conference. They announced Operation Legend, which is a crackdown on gun violence. That man stood at that podium in front of all of Indianapolis, and he told them that there will be no deals on murder charges. There will be no bonds on murder charges.
Yep.
But at the same time, they just gave Tyler Newby a $250,000 bond under special circumstances that weren't explained and still can't be explained. Wow. So, that's just another thing I want to throw out there. It's so much that's wrong with this case. Honestly, I feel like we can do a show that's 4 hours long just about this case by itself. You know what I mean? Because it's so like I kind of gave you guys we gave you guys an overall, but there's even more details and there's even more disturbing findings that's in this case. Yeah. Like even the fact that they didn't even give Dorian medical attention when the ambulance pulled up. There were police officers that jumped out of that ambulance. They weren't even EMTs. There's a lot to it. You know what I mean? There's just a lot to it. But, I mean, I can be reached, you know what I'm saying, at their email, my Facebook, you know what I'm saying? I've got a lot of evidence. I still have other videos that I'm editing. I don't want to put too much out, but I want to get the word out. So, I mean, just stay on the lookout for it, man, because we need to get the word out about it.
Amen. I would like to add something else, Moose, if at all possible.
Yeah.
FBI has not been allowed to come into either of these young ladies' cases. Here in Florida, in Hillsborough County, you can call the FBI. However, the county has to actually allow them to come in.
The county still has jurisdiction?
It has been 7 months since my sister's been missing. It has been almost 8 months since Veronica's been missing. You know the Fort Hood soldier that that Texas EquiSearch found, who was found buried underground, encased in concrete. We had that exact same Texas EquiSearch that was wanting to come out when my sister first came up missing, that wanted to help find her, and Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office said no. Now, let me explain this. You know what an EquiSearch is? There are people with horses and, things like that.
Oh, yeah, equine, yeah, horses, yeah. Okay.
How does an EquiSearch team find a Fort Hood soldier on a army base, buried underground, encased in concrete? How do they do that? That means they're damn good. But they would not allow them to come and look for my sister, and still will not, because it will hinder the investigation.
Folks, I have no. Listen,
I don't either.
I think I'm a pretty smart guy, right? And I, you know what? I'm from Indiana. I'm a black man from Indiana. That's a man of a certain age. And I think I'm a centrist, by the way. Holy cow. I just turned a lot of people off. But I'm a centrist because I'm a businessman, right? And guess what? I still don't understand the fact that you got to treat people, everybody, the same. We got to find Kai's sister. We got to make sure that CG's cousin is treated fairly, and we find out who did what they were supposed to do. We got to find Michael Lane. We got to talk to Michael Lane and say, holy cow, like you've done 34. Like, do you need to do more at that point? I mean, are you a menace to society? That's what this show's about tonight, man. No justice, no peace. Now, you know what? I saw a good meme today, and the meme was by this is going to trip y'all out. It was my ex-mother-in-law, right? So at some point, Moose was married to a pilgrim. So his ex-mother-in-law is a pilgrim woman that's about 71 or something. And her meme said, you know what? When they have hurricanes, they have looters. And when they have earthquakes, they have looters. And when they have protests, they have looters. What's the difference? The looters are always there. Do we care about the looters? No. What we want to care about is the fact that the people are out there, the hurricane survivors, they're trying to survive, but they're still looters. The people that are in the earthquakes, they're trying to survive, but they're still an earthquake, and they're just trying to survive. You see the point here? So a lot of people will say, well, Moose, you know what? Your show is ridiculous because you had all these people on here talking about these people that were in jail and these people that got locked up and all that kind of stuff. Guess what? They're still human beings. They made a mistake. Some of them their lives have been taken, so let's be respectful. Some of them, they're doing time for situations that, holy cow, they probably paid their debt at this point, especially if no one was killed, right? Let's make that point. No one was killed in 30 years, and she wasn't raped, and I stole a taxi, and I get 30 years? Come on, man. Yes, if I steal a taxi, I should do some time. I'm with you. Somebody's in the car, I messed up, you're going to double ding me. I remember that term from the days when I was a young man. So you double ding me because somebody was in the car, but that's it. 30 years of my life is not worth it. I'm just going to put it out there. And now, if I'm a young lady that is 20, in my 20s, right, and I'm out and I'm driving around and somebody snatches me, do everything you can do. By the way, I'll share this with you, and we'll get done here. Years ago, Moose, D-Lo, Ron, and everybody else is here, was training for the Marion County Sheriff's Department. And the Marion County Sheriff's Department took us on a run through Eagle Creek Park. We didn't run on the roads. We run in the ditches. We ran up the hills. We ran in the lake, on the frozen lake. It was snowy. We ran in all the harshest conditions. And when we got done with the run, you know what the training officer said? His name was Chris Hefner. He was the baddest son of a gun I ever met. So I'll say his name because he was a bad son of a gun. Chris Hefner said, you know what? If my daughter was raped, murdered, or molested, or killed, or tracked by somebody, I want you guys to put this effort in that you put in tonight to get her. And we all did it. Even my overweight self made the run. We need to put that same effort in to find Kaya. We need to put that same effort into finding out who CG's people were. We need to put that same effort into figuring out how to get Michael Lane some justice. That's all. That's all. I think that's all we're asking. So, for Pastor, and I say it so many different ways. Chaplain Ruth Taylor, and Katrina Overstreet, and for CG in the great name of Mr. Morrell, and also, am I gonna say this right? Shapavu. Did I say it right? I always mess up. Shapavu wa Karima. Let's find justice for these people, because otherwise there'll be no peace. And you gotta understand that these are real people that are
Exactly.
These are real people that are affected by these situations. Long Green 400. What are your final thoughts on this? What are we doing here?
We just got to figure out collective ways to be able to consistently support our people, because if we don't, nobody else is. You know what I mean? If we can find certain grievances to rally behind together, you know what I mean, then we can have some impact. You know, I think one thing that we've got to be willing to do, you know, and there's so many people that have been impacted, you know what I'm saying, we almost need to put together groups of people to consistently, you know, every couple of weekends or whatever, you know what I'm saying, these are the people we're going to go out here and support. These are the letters that we're going to send, and we need to just keep hitting them, you know, with multiple people, with multiple sources coming at them, you know, consistently. But we can't really have impact on everybody individually. But if we somehow collectively try and pull together to at least make a difference, you know what I'm saying, we can help impact some, is my belief. And certainly shows like this motivate me to want to make sure I'm doing whatever I can to support and be a part of the change. You know what I'm saying? So that's my final thought, bro.
And man, this is your show. That's what makes it cool, right?
Yeah, already.
Ron, you got any final thoughts on this joint?
Yes. So I just want to talk to the allies for a hot second. Like, we can sit and be sad, but we've got to channel our energy into something productive. It does not help anybody to sit around and be sad. Find your activism lane and do that. If you have the finances, then back different projects. Just use your strengths. And so for all the listeners, go ahead and be on the lookout for the letters that you can just blast to your local officials. We'll be sending those out.
For sure. And you were being serious, but it's funny because we know that Katrina and Kwame are getting married soon.
I saw it.
And Long Green is the DJ. Long Green's the DJ for the wedding. Boy, I'm gonna be cutting the rug up from that joke. Oh, I won't even be there. I'm DJing the wedding that same day. I'm mad about it. I might call and be like, you know what? I got something to do. I'm busy.
And you have to have your 90s bling. Not have to.
I mean, you know what?
You have to be Tupac. You have to be LL Cool J. You have to be Salt and Pepper. If you're not coming in with your 90s bling, and I'm talking about up in the church, all up in the church, we're not coming down in this white dress and tuxedo. I'm coming as Janet in Poetic Justice, and he's coming as Tupac.
Already, that's what's up.
You know what I'm mad about? I have my gazelles in here somewhere. I don't know what I did with them. and look,
just to lighten the load, I just want everybody to smile. What we said here is very, very dear to our hearts in each definite way, especially with Rashid.
It's crazy.
I understand what she probably was going through, because if my soon-to-be husband was there, I'd be blowing up. I shouldn't say that on the radio.
You would be blowing them up, but you mean calling them and writing them text messages and emailing them.
Thank you. Absolutely. That's what
I know my job.
But it's all heartfelt. But to have you guys laugh, we want everyone to come to the wedding. If you're not in your 90s, except Miss Cosding, she has to wear her collar, but I would like to see her in some stilettos and her form dress. But come in your
I do not want to see that. I'm glad I'm not going to see that. I don't want to see that.
Come in your 90s bling. Be LL Cool J. Be TLC. Be Salt and Pepper.
You can be Moose aka Big House. I got the dumb doo-doo chain on every single day, and I wear the gazelles in real life.
Exactly. I know. I've seen you.
Yeah. I wear them in real life.
But we're going to have fun, and we, of course, want everyone to be there, but you better wear your 90s bling or I'm going to call you out.
Outstanding, man. I tell you, we appreciate that. I tell you what, man. Hey, I appreciate Shapavu for coming on and giving her story. Man, we definitely send our prayers to Rashid. CG, we will be in contact with you because you got videos to put out, and we'll help you with that distribution for sure.
Definitely appreciate it, man. I appreciate everything. Thanks to everybody taking time to even listen and deal with it.
Yeah, for sure, man. And come on back. Bring your friends, man. I saw you on our Heavy Hitters Facebook reposting our stuff. It was cool. I appreciate that.
Oh yeah. I always got to support.
Yeah. Hey, Katrina, definitely, man. We need to find Kaya and her friend. I can't remember her name. I apologize. Veronica. We need to find Veronica and Kaya for sure. And then I tell you what, Justice for Michael Lane. Chaplain Taylor. I called you so many names. Hey, I tell you, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna have you do a prayer, right? And then we're going to do our closing for Heavy Hitters, and then we're gonna shut it down. You guys cool with that? Heavy Hitters, y'all cool with that? All right. Chaplain Taylor, do your thing.
Okay, first of all, I want to thank everybody for listening, for caring. Because if it was your son in prison, being mistreated, being missing, I guarantee you'd have a different perspective. So let's not be judgmental. And having said that, Lord, thank you so much for this privilege and honor to share all these injustices, Lord. We don't know the truth, but God, you do. You're a God of justice, and enough is enough. You said you would not let us go through more than what we can bear. Now I ask in your name that you send every angel out, every scout out, bring out the truth, Lord. Even if it's somebody that is an official that needs to be punished, Lord. Bring out the truth. And Lord, set these people free. Bring Kaya home, Lord. And bless Mr. Johnson, Lord, down in Wabash. And bless CG's family, Lord. And I don't want to start naming names because I'm not God, you are. And you know every need, you know every situation. And we're just going to praise you in advance. We're going to put it in your hands because we know that you're a God of justice and you are faithful and you are faithful to keep your promises. And we thank you and we praise you in advance. I declare and decree in Jesus' name it's done. Amen.
Hey, folks, the Heavy Ears Radio Show. This is Moose, aka Big Couch. Remember, we are where you are.
So get comfortable.
Come on in.
We're leaving the rest of it alone.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Weird.
I'm nervous
It's so
about
weird.
it. I'm nervous about it.
And who we fronting for?